Shadows in the Bureau. The walls of the FBI's Crimson Hill headquarters echoed with silence as Agent Malik Rowe stood over the blood-stained carpet of room 342. A senior analyst, Antonia Vega, was found dead, slumped in her chair, her laptop wiped clean, and her last communication just 3 words: "They know everything." The time was 4:06 a.m., and the Bureau had just turned on its own. Agent Malik Rowe was one of the most talented behavioral analysts in the FBI. A black Muslim man with an impeccable record, he had cracked some of the Bureau's most complex cases. But behind the Bureau's polished image was an insidious truth. Officers like Malik and his Latina partner, Agent Camila Torres, were consistently denied promotions, isolated from elite cases, and often assigned grunt work far below their capabilities. Their section chief, Director Bryce Harlan, ran the behavioral analysis unit like an old Southern courtroom, favoring white Christian men, turning blind eyes to complaints and punishing those who spoke out. Rumors swirled of a clean badge society, a secretive inner circle of high-ranking officials determined to preserve their version of what the Bureau should be. Antonia Vega, a Cuban-American forensic analyst, had been collecting evidence of internal sabotage, planted evidence, and falsified reports, documents implicating several high-level agents in a years-long campaign of systemic oppression, case manipulation, and cover-ups. She never got the chance to share them. Malik and Camilla weren't buying the official story that Antonia had died by suicide. There was no note, no signs of struggle, but a scent of lavender, Antonia's favorite, still lingered, and her cat, Mr. Socks, had scratches on his back, like he tried to fight someone off. Security footage from the hallway was mysteriously corrupted between 2:03 a.m. and 4:15 a.m. They began digging. Behind Antonia's desk, hidden inside a false drawer, they found a USB drive labeled "Burn Them All." Encrypted, locked, but accessible with a facial scan. They needed someone Antonia trusted. And that's when they turned to her twin brother, Javier Vega, a cybersecurity contractor once fired from the NSA for leaking documents about racial bias in threat assessment programs. Javier cracked the drive. What they uncovered was damning. Emails from Director Harlan referring to officers of color as quota fillers, audio of private meetings where certain cases were assigned based on racial assumptions, and financial records showing bribes and secret offshore transfers. And there was more. Evidence that 3 unsolved murders, each dismissed as gang-related, were actually tied to rogue agents eliminating whistleblowers. They knew they were being watched. 2 days after unlocking the drive, Malik's car was rammed off the road. Camilla's apartment was broken into. The USB vanished, but Malik had already uploaded everything to a private server, accessible only via dead man's switch. Knowing internal affairs was compromised, they leaked partial data to a trusted journalist, Maya Keene, known for her investigations into government overreach. Within 12 hours, Crimson Hill went into lockdown. The FBI's top brass scrambled, issuing statements, but it was too late. Public outrage exploded. Protesters gathered outside the headquarters. Congressional hearings were called. Whistleblowers, long silenced by fear, began coming forward, many of them women, immigrants, and minority agents. But Malik and Camilla weren't done. They knew Director Harlan would try to flee. They tracked him to a private hangar in Virginia. Armed but not alone, he had backup. A brief shootout erupted, and by the time the dust settled, 3 agents were arrested, and Harlan lay wounded on the tarmac. He tried to bargain. "This place will fall without me." Malik leaned in. "No, it'll rise without you." The investigation blew open a decades-long conspiracy. Over 27 agents were indicted, charged with obstruction of justice, abuse of power, conspiracy to commit murder. Internal Affairs was completely restructured, with an independent civilian oversight committee formed. Director Harlan and his lieutenants were convicted in federal court. The Clean Badge Society was exposed, its members disgraced, stripped of their pensions, and many imprisoned. Camilla was promoted to Assistant Director of Diversity and Ethics. Malik? He was offered the role of unit chief. He accepted, but under one condition: full transparency reforms and whistleblower protections across all divisions. At Antonia Vega's funeral, a plaque was unveiled. She died fighting the silence. We'll speak for her now. The FBI's Crimson Hill HQ would never be the same. But sometimes change doesn't come from the top. It bleeds up from the cracks, through voices once ignored, rising in chorus until no one can deny them. And as long as agents like Malik and Camila remain, no system, no matter how protected, can stay corrupt forever.